Yo, what's up, y'all, man? Look, it's always your boy Marcel, and I am the Wealth Mentor, and this is Wealthy Sibling. Where we here to do what? And change your family's money story. But let's really talk about it when it comes to the framework of money. Because in order for you to change your family's money story, a lot of the time, it has nothing to do with, well, at first, it has nothing to do with you getting a whole bunch of money at one time. You need to change the mindset or framework around how you think about money and the concept, right? Which is why I developed the book, A Trade I Made, which is why I came out with the ebook, Investing for Beginners, How to Start with $500 and Below, which is why I even talk about my other book, which is an ebook called $1 Million Network, and how do you build $1 million network, and the way you can leverage these things. So with that, let's have a conversation about, is it always worth it? And bruh, listen, it ain't always worth it. You may think it's worth it, but it ain't always worth it. And what I mean when I say that, we're gonna talk about the culture, right? We're gonna talk about, man, is it worth all the money that you're gonna have to put into it to deal with the beef, or is it, my morals can just we could just sit back and not deal with this. So T.I. challenged the great 50, right? Some people like to call him my hip hop dad, to a versus, right? And don't just let me uh give you my perspective. Let's ask, Ti his perspective.
And this nigga talk about this.
You
We
talk
talk
about you
about
were
it.
50.
Yeah, man. We
Oh,
talk
okay.
about this shit, man. This shit
Oh,
just
okay.
come out of nowhere.
All right.
Nigga, we were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows and shit while we were around each other, man. You know what I mean? I said, shit, what you think about this? He like, shit, you want to do that shit? I said, yeah. He was like, all right, cool. So shit. And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up.
Right.
So essentially, Ti had made it public, and this is the thing about when we do things that make it's not just about, my time is valued equivalent to my money. It's also about, bro, my reputation is up here too, especially according to Ti. If we talked about it, because now that I don't went in public and said it, and you're trying to act like, I'm not established, and there's a respect level to this. Like, oh, this is just something I'm just calling out. This is random. He's like, bro, I'm a way more established businessman than to do things that are random, because I can do things that can be making me money. And if I wanted to do something that I enjoy and just for my time, I would be doing comedy. But it's the wildest thing, bro. So, what do we say to that? And then here's the thing, right? So a lot of people like if you was challenging me to a verse battle and I was ordering, I was like, bruh, if you're gonna do it, let's do it. And we'll talk about how we're gonna make the money later. But it's also gonna cost money. The production costs, the traveling, the marketing, like once I become invested and it is my public persona. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I have to go through with it if you want to act brand new? No. But are you playing with the rate of my catalog as the quote unquote king? Right? There's legal, there's team staff, there's opportunity calls for like rehearsal time. This is if you actually went into doing the battle, how much money you actually gonna spend. So you're gonna spend on production costs, you're gonna spend on travel, you're gonna spend on marketing, you're gonna spend on legal team, you're gonna spend on staff, and you're gonna spend on opportunity costs for rehearsal time. All that is going into factor when if and when we decide to do this versus. And now that I don't become public, you gonna act like I don't have the money or time to do this as if you are more busy than me. But that goes into like money versus morals. Like morally, I'm like, man, all right, I would definitely take the road that Ti specifically is taking. And it seems like he just like skip it. Now, if I am going to be classic 50 is Troll 50. Classic 50 doesn't take anything seriously because I think what a lot of people miss with 50 is that 50 Cent is still 50, but he operates on a daily basis as Curtis Jackson. And I think people be like, bro, what do you mean? Marcel, what are you talking about? How did we get here? Well, 50 Cent made majority of his money in the rap game, in the music game, in the industry. Curtis Jackson is trying to build himself into a mogul, right? A self-sustaining mogul. And he's pretty close. Curtis Jackson don't really, you know, care that deep. He just don't. 50, he's an artist. He loves music, but I think 50 already feels established. So it's a fun game for him. Does he have to take it seriously? No. He said my money long enough. I don't really got to take this seriously. But could make a lot of money. Now they said that after all the things that I named in the production cost for the versus battle is up to like 500, so $500,000 to $2 million. And in ticket sales, could you make that back? Possibly. It's crazy. I don't think people talk about like the cost of venues and how you do ticket pricing. Then we also talk about the time. Here's what I love about the knowledge that we have for today. I can literally ask, hey, what is this going to cost my time? I can use the beautiful tools of AI to say, hey, can you quick map what would this cost my time? And this would also piss me off if I'm TI, because check this out. Is this worth TI's time? So here's what society and AI and the prompts say, this is what it'll cost me. And I've already made this public as if I'm going to do it. I don't like backing down, especially when you have higher morals. Like my word is bond. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Cost me $250 in appearance, $1 million per month in business like movement, avenues, or long-term studio development time. Preparing for the verses might cost 4 to 8 weeks of focus that could be spent on other business revenues. So you cost me like 2 months of other money moves that I could be making. And depending upon who you talking to, like how does that stop your grind if you have a team? That's if you have a team. But let's say we don't know all the details. There's creative energy, there's media spend risk, and it's just like, is the versus building your catalog value versus distracting or dismantling your infrastructure. And 50 could be taking the other route. He could say this could be distracting and dismantling my infrastructure that I'm trying to build over here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I really don't got time for that. We don't know. We don't know. Now, on 50's end, when it comes to 50 Cent, the brand, the G-Unit brand, and Curtis Jackson adjacent, it's endorsements versus ownership. Like, yeah, I could endorse the idea of the versus battle with you, but it's like, look at it like this way. It's brand deals versus like temporary cash of dealing that with you. Studio ownership versus recurring cash. Again, this is all the stuff that I got going on for real. And it's a little side project that's like a hobby and for fun. You feel me? When it come to like where we gonna do it, here's where you could spend it. If I'm 50, right? And I'm challenged to a versus battle. The creative way, and I'm not a genie, so if he actually does this, it's gonna be wild. In a creative way, what could I do? I could say, oh, quote unquote, King of the South want to challenge me. Okay, cool. I'll give you one better. I will do the battle in the South. You know, okay, how does this, work in 50's hand? Do the battle in Shreveport. Better yet, if I have the conversion of like my land and studio grounds already set up, do the battle on my acre, on my land strip. And then I stream it through, what is it? 50 Vision. He has a streaming platform on the long term PI and let me in charge of the ticket sales. What? Yeah, that half a mil to 2 mil of, the ride and the build up, I can make that back in about $4 million play. All off the strength of you challenging me. But now you have to accept my terms and saying, all right, cool, we can do it down south too. Come on, Louisiana. Mr. King, I'm just saying, like if I'm really gonna spin it, I'ma spin it. You hear me? So it's just about like really how you think about it, right? And at the end of it, so taking those two out of it, and then just for you, um, if anybody tries to bait you into controversy, especially if you are an entrepreneur or businessman and you are the wealthy sibling, you have to think about it. Is it worth your time? Is it worth your morals? Your morals isn't just your personality, and it isn't just about being personal. It's strategic, right? And you got to realize, like, okay, who is my audience, and is this worth me or my audience time? Does this be for controversy align with my brand or deals that I'm trying to get? Does this hurt or enhance like my overall position? Is this worth it? And a lot of people consider that when they like go on shows. Like I already know that there is a leverage of you have to get somewhere in order for people to pay attention to you. That's just the name of the game in entertainment, right? Which is why I always focus on about how we get into a bag, which is building wealth, taking action, and setting goals. So we don't have to worry about if I'm valued in the entertainment world enough for you to look at me. I don't really care. I'm talking to who I'm talking to because we talking about really changing our lives. That's it. That's all we doing. Now, trolling can always go left when it comes to like, okay, who else are you offending in regards to my legacy? Now you testing my morals, which is where you have King coming at 50, in regards to like his moms. And a lot of people are like, bro, that's his moms. He gonna say it. And I get that. And I think when you talk about all that, at the end of the day, it is really, really just about like, is it worth my time and is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? Money over morals. Another thing that I had just seen um on the Carter's internet, somebody got offered 2.5 million or 5 million for a brand deal, for a Don Julio brand deal. Now if you drink cognac, if you drink tequila, white or dark is as we call it, no shade to you. But going back to the industry in hand, do you own any liquor in this industry? Right? A lot of people don't talk about. I only know, even in the entertainment sector, who are actually public. There's four. One owns a spritzer. There's a black man. I have to find all his wines, right? But 50 has a cognac. Shannon Sharp has a cognac. Then you got Uncle Nearest. So when we talk about like, bro, is it worth it to sign a brand deal, or are we going to get into this industry? So like, what is it, bro? And then you got to realize, like, do you take it? So if Don Julio offered you 2.5 million in for a brand partnership, for a brand deal, are you gonna take it? Now, before you answer that, calculate the real cost and not just money, right? Now let's get into it. Let's break it down financially. $2.5 million after taxes is like 40. So let's say if it was a $5 million deal. If it's anywhere between $5 million after taxes, that's like 3 million. Now, hopefully, you invest in this money after you get this big blessing, similar to the Dr. Pepper shorty. Dr. Pepper girl, if you ever see this, hey, tap in. You probably should be investing about 8% of that annually to create you passive income that you can live off of. People can live off $250,000. It's reputable because there are people who make that in high end tech jobs, they do okay, right? Now, you could fund studio build out, real estate portfolio, film production, if you want to stay in entertainment, right? Because apparently you're doing something entertaining, you got a brand deal from Don Julio. But is it worth it? Now, what are you giving up? If you were doing something independent, you gave up your brand alignment, you gave up your independence. If your audience knew you for something else, your audience no longer trusts you because you just went left for $2.5 million. Some people are going to counter this conversation with, but them people don't, you know what I'm saying? Why are you doing so much or considering, your life choices so much around people who may not even care about you? That's true. That's true. But when we talk about building a brand and a name for yourself, that usually comes along with a core base, a following, a tribe, a community, right? So I have a community who knows me for investing. I've stamped that. They know me for money. If I start going so far left just for um brand cash flow right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of that? Because they're gonna be like, bro, we followed you because we in alignment with the dream that's on the other side of the door. We want to be wealthy and follow our righteous cause, or you know what I'm saying? We want to change our mother's lives, our family lives. Like, we not here for the entertainment. We could go watch VHS. I mean, we could go watch VH1 and MTV if we wanted to, you know what I'm saying, really just get down with that. We here as trendsetters. We here as goal setters. We trying to get to a bag that is labeled generational wealth. We not here for entertainment all the time. Now, we chop it up, we have fun, and we dissect things, like the versus battle. Cool. But that's not the end all be all. And again, we could just go watch MTV for that. Right. So, those are the things that you really gotta ask yourself, man. When it come to, if a lump sum of money is sat in your hand, is it worth it? When it comes to controversy or beef, is it worth it? You gotta weigh it, man. You gotta weigh it on the scale. Money versus my morals. What are we doing? Most of the time, I'm hanging on my high road because I understand that I can go make money somewhere else. Money does not move me for real. Right. So, I never really get phased that I could do this for this amount. And nah, man. I, I'm here standing on my 10 toes about changing my family's money story and my community's money story. You feel me? Like, straight like that. Like, that's what I'm here. But as always, man, the like button, hit the share button. I appreciate y'all. Hit the subscribe button. Love. I'm your boy Marcel Griffin, founder of Griffin Speaks LLC, wealth mentor, the wealthy sibling. Really is going to become a wealthy sibling. And that's my goal, man. To empower you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna lock in. Let's do it.